Heidi ho, my crafty friends. How are you today? I hope you're doing well. So today I thought we would work in Grandma's attic, and I have a couple of things planned. So on the cover of the book, you see that there are lots of fabric strips here, and I thought we would use fabric for the tabs of our signatures. So we're going to do that kind of at the end because, you know, that all needs to dry. So I've got out some fabric strips here, and I've got them up here so we don't forget to do it. But back here in the back, you see all this stuff. Now, my attic is nowhere near that neat, but I thought we could maybe create something to represent this, like a little collage or something. And I got out some of my the little versions of my Tim Holtz paper dolls. And I got out someone for Grandma, and I found these two little girls that are so stinking cute to be the little girl here and maybe a little friend, her little sister. And we're going to build something that, you know, Grandma can sit on and the littlest girl can sit on a page. And then I found this little vintage style card that my friend next door, Amy, found for me. And I think this is so cute. This reminds me of Shirley Temple. And she's just watering flowers. And it says, I'm so excited about your birthday that I just wet my plants. And that is definitely my friend Amy. She's just hysterical. But I thought we would do something with this in there. Maybe make a side pocket or something like that in our book. But the first thing I want to do, because it's going to take the longest, is this part right here. So let's pick out a page, and I want to see which one's the chubbiest, because that's the one I don't want to do it in. So what I'm doing is I'm holding them up and I'm seeing which is the chubbiest, which is this one. Now I'm going to put them in order here. Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3. So 3 is a little chunky. Okay, so 2 needs some loving. So we're going to put this here. We're going to put this with Grandma and the little girl back in this one. So let's find us a page that we can do some building on. That's going to be secure enough to hold it. And I think I like that page. That would be nice. Oh, I like the lace. Maybe let's do one of these pages because they're just kind of bland. Yeah, let's do one of these pages. They're just kind of bland here, sitting here, hanging out, going, help me, help me. Help me, help me. Okay, so I just have some scraps. That's all I have. I just have some scraps sitting here, you know, that we've used in the book, plus a book page. That's all I have. And I'm just gonna tear. This is basically collage work. You guys know how to collage. And I'm just tearing pieces. Now, basically, I don't want the white, so that's what I'm tearing off. And if it's not straight, it's not straight. I don't care, because I'm going to tear. Now, I want the paper to be the background. Or do I want the cardstock? Because it's a little sturdier. I think I want the cardstock to be the background, because it'll be a little sturdier. All right, so I have no clue what I want here. No freaking clue, you guys. None at all. So let's see what we want to do here. Now I have these. These are cardstock, you know, that we used in our sewing journal. So I'm thinking this is what I want everybody to sit on. You know, so before we glue everything down, we need to make sure everybody's positioned here. So that's going to have to come down a little bit closer, because everybody needs to sit. So we're going to need something under the little girl, you know, for under her feet here. So maybe we'll give her, oh, let's get, let's give her some polka dots. And this is going to be inked and, you know, things like that. So we'll give her some polka dots. Come here. We'll maybe put that down there. And maybe put Grandma's dress behind it. Now, we can't have Grandma's knees above the top of that. Now, all this is going to be inked, so you'll be able to see it a little bit better. Now, I don't particularly like that. Little girl needs to be down here. But Grandma needs to be up here, but then she can't touch the little girl, can't she? This may not work like I thought it was going to. Because now, or maybe she can just touch her arm. Alright, how about we move the little one over and she can sit on the green. I might just have to... Alright, Grandma can sit up here. Alright, little lady, you might have to lose your feet. Alright, let's see how we can manipulate this. Okay, Grandma's sitting. The little girl is sitting. I apologize for the boys. We are about ready to get a major thunderstorm and the wind is blowing like crazy. There, I think that works. Because now the little girl's sitting on the polka dots. This little girl is standing and Grandma is sitting. Okay, so let's ink that and glue that down so we don't forget that. Okay. So the wind is blowing like crazy and it's, you know, don't be surprised if you hear them come in. Now, all I'm doing is I'm taking what's left of my brush across here and I'm just kind of going just very lightly. I'm not even touching her dress hardly. Now I want to put her back where she was, like that. And while I can, silly glue bottle, everything is stuck together now. I want to hold her down in the bottom of her dress. Hold on, I need to get the glue up to the top. I want to put some glue underneath so I can glue her down. Right there. I just put a little bit of glue right there. That way I know she stays put. And now these little ladies, we're going to do the same thing, even though part of them isn't really going to show up. Now I'm going to do the same thing with them. It just makes them look like it's just a little vintage picture. Now I'm not doing their faces. I'm just doing their little dresses. Just adding a little bit of, you know, just doing that. Now I'm going to do the same thing with them. Oh, no, I'm not. I got to do this. Okay, so I'm just taking my finger. I'm just tearing across the bottom here. You know, it's old. It's been in the attic a while. Things have gotten torn. Okay, so now I want to glue this down. So let's scoot this back under Grandma. Right there. Okay, ladies. Now, let's get some glue under them. And get them down where we want them. Oops, I shouldn't have put it under her head, should I? Because we're not gluing her to the page yet. There we go. Oops, too close to Grandma. Okay, so now we've got them where we want them. Now we can finish Grandma. I can put some glue here on her dress. Okay, my paper towel's right here. I want to get off a little bit of that. Okay. Now, I can deal with this paper here. There we go. Now, I can tear this edge. And I can tear this edge a little bit. Remember, it's just been sitting in the attic. It's old and tattered and torn. Let's get this side. This is just one element of our page. Okay, so this piece is done. This is the one piece that's done. So now let's get the rest of our collage done. Okay. So we're going to put them over here with my ink pad to dry. All right, so I think I want that to sit there. And like I said, I just have these other scraps. I'm just going to kind of tear them in wonka-donka ways, tear off some of the edges. I'm not going to tear all the edges, but I'll tear some of them. And my little trash can's hanging around here somewhere. Well, it was. So I guess I'll just move the big trash can over and we'll keep our desk cleaned off a little bit, or we'll try. Okay. Okay, so that's a piece of the black lace. Now I do want some of the polka dot though. It's okay, buddy. It's just wind. PJ has now joined us. Yeah, he does not like the wind. Especially when it's howling. It comes off the mountain and it starts howling. Yeah, he's going to hang out in his bed for a little bit with us. Okay, let's just get a little bit on here. Now, I think I'm also going to add some more, maybe of the orange. Okay, like I said, you all know how to do this. You know how to collage. You know how to, to do your pages. So this is going to be totally and completely up to you, however you want to do it. So I think on here, we already have this down here. So I want to put behind them, because I think this blue looks like a little bit of wallpaper. I want to put that behind them, so I think I want another piece to look like a little more wallpaper, maybe behind the girls. Let's maybe get some over here behind the girls. To add a little bit more. Or maybe let's move that piece. Let's turn it this way, I think. Oh, there we go. I like that. I like that better. Yeah, I like that better. Okay, now this black lace, maybe over here. Now remember, that's going to stay there. That piece can come down there. Those flat edges, I think I'm going to put under there. Let's put a piece of the orange over here. Oh, I like those polka dots. Let's bring some polka dots up there. What else do we have? Yeah, having this paper being double-sided has been a little fun. I gotta tell you, I have enjoyed being able to flip it over, and get different. And it's been totally different on both sides. Usually it's It's very, very similar, but this has been totally different. I've enjoyed this. All right, so I think I might want that piece. Whoops. I'm thinking I'm going to have to glue this book page down because I'm a wiggling everywhere. So let's glue that down so it quits wiggling. Let's glue that down. All right, so let me lift up this. Now I haven't, glued it completely to the edges. I've just kind of done it in the middle in case I want to stick pieces like this behind it. Maybe that behind it. Okay, I think I want to go on and put this behind them. Now this won't be a page that'll be used as a tuck or, anything like that. It'll just be decorated. But that's okay. I don't mind that. I like those decorated pages sometimes that just, pop in and out of my journals, and they're just fun to look at. Okay. Now, let's see what's on the back of this blue. Oh, we have some green. We don't have any green. Now, I like this. I'm really liking this blue. I'm really liking that blue. It does remind me of wallpaper. Does it remind you guys of wallpaper? This blue right here. Does that remind you guys of wallpaper? It really reminds me of wallpaper. Okay, so I like this green too. Let's see what we can do with some green. I think this might be too big though. But I do want a piece of this. Gosh, this is really tough to tear. Okay, let's get some more ink on here. Now I'm just using this ink pad here in case you can't see what I'm doing. I guess I could adjust you here a little bit more. So let's get this. And this is oxide. It's not ink that I'm putting on here. Sorry, it's oxide. That whole quad thing I just showed you is oxide. Okay, maybe that up there. It's very handy. It has 4 different colors in it. And so, you don't need to have 4 ink pads on your desk. I actually took the smaller ones I was using. I moved them out of the way because I had this sitting there too. And I thought, well, that's kind of silly if I'm going to use this and I've got those. I don't need them all. They were just taking up space. Okay, I like that. Let's put some green down here. And let's maybe move some of this. Did I already glue that? I already glued that. Let's move this little piece of black maybe down here. Okay, I like that. All right, so we've got some black at the top. We've got black at the bottom. We've got some of the blue-green at the top. We've got it down at the bottom. Okay, we need some orange to kind of, I don't know, I kind of like that orange up there. But you need to kind of level your eye out so it doesn't just go to one spot and stay there. So you need it to travel around your page. So I need some orange down here. Now, if I would have used my pencils and colored one of these dresses orange, you know, I wouldn't need to add the paper. Oops, I need to. Okay. But I think this maybe needs to go underneath her. Oh, I like this little cluster up here. So let's go on and maybe get some of this together. Now let's get these down. Under the paper. And glued down, not glued down. All right, so, oh, I think we need these polka dots. I'm truly thinking we need those polka dots, you guys. Why, you might ask? They're fun. Why not? I'm thinking we need some more polka dots. I love polka dots. All right, so even if it's just a little bit, we're going to add some polka dots. Now, where are we going to add them? Well, now that's the question, isn't it? I think we're going to add them right up there. There we go. Now we have a little bit of fun. So we can go on and glue that down. Okay, so we've got kind of that big piece. We've got that big piece. Oops. Sticking to my fingers now. Now, I also have some of the other pieces that are in our journal. The blue birds. And this, that's in our journal. We can start introducing some of this. This page is in our journal, or a piece of it anyhow. So let's introduce some of this blue. I like this stamp section here. So I'm thinking a piece of this would be good right in here. Let's turn it so it's going the right way. Over here. Okay. I think we're going to put it right there. And these flowers here, these roses, I think we're going to move down here toward the bottom. Maybe, or maybe we're going to put them over. I think we're going to bring them. Where do we need something? I'm thinking we need something up here. Or is that too heavy? Maybe we need them up here. Maybe toward the middle. Maybe not in the middle, but toward the middle. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, I think right there. Let's tip you that way. That's better. And then I think we're going to use a piece of this writing. I know, writing on a book page, you think, what in the world? Well, this is different writing, and it's got some flowers on it. Okay, so this might be too big, but I think I might want it. I think it is too big. I think I just want the little flower piece. I think I want it up here. And I want it sticking off. I actually want it up here. Like that. And then this piece, I want off over here. Do I want it over there? I need to glue this down. I missed it. I don't want it sticking up. And I missed this piece. So let's get that glued down. There we go. Did I do this side? Okay. Okay, I think we're good there then. Okay, so we've got these roses right here. So I want to bring in some roses. Now, I'm not a big rose fan, but my grandmother loved roses. She had roses everywhere. In her little garden out back, she had roses, she had herbs, she had all kinds of little critters that came to visit. She had a birdhouse, which I think we are going to add a birdhouse eventually. And I think we want to add, do we want it there? Somewhere on one of our pages, we have to add a birdhouse. Because my grandma loved birdhouses. Now, where do I want that? I think I want it up here. But I think it's too big. I think I want it smaller. Yeah, I think I want it like that. Just an odd shape. Okay. All right, let me shove all that stuff into the trash. And let me take a look at it. All right, I think I want to get my black, let me find it here. Is this it? My black pencil. Now let me get my water. Now I don't normally do black, but I don't see my brown one handy. Okay, so I've got my black pencil. It's my Aquio pencil. And I'm just going to take and around the edges here. It's just my little art pencil. And I'm just kind of going to highlight them a little bit. Like her little bows. Just to try and make them stand out a little bit more. because we added so much around the page. Oh, I need to glue Grandma's arm down. Especially down here around where we... Whoops, I need to glue that down. And I need my fine tip here for Grandma. Okay, where's my thing here? Okay, let's get her hand down. Come on, glue down. Now she's got a little black trim here around the bottom of her dress that I'm just following. Okay. Now, I also have here on my desk, where is it? Here. I have my gold pen. Now, I got this. This is a metallic pen, and it's from Crafter Square. So you can get this at the Dollar Tree. If you have a Dollar Tree, I highly recommend this pen. It is fabulous. It'll be better than any gold pen you can ever buy. And I want to give these little girls little teeny tiny gold bows. They are with Grandma, so they probably just went to church. And these little pans come in gold and silver, and I'm thinking one other color. There. Okay. But they're fabulous. You will love it. You will just love it. Okay, so I'm liking the page so far, so I need to wait just a second for that little girl's bow to dry. And I don't see my silver one here. It's here somewhere. There it is. There. Here's the silver. Right here. And let's see. Come in. No, it must just be gold and silver. Because I wanted to do their little dots. You know how you have the little dots in your... the little knot in your bow. I wanted to go over that. Make it just a smidgen lighter. With this. There. Now, I don't know if you can see it, but I can see it. Okay. Okay. So, I know you're probably thinking, that looks like a freaking mess. But, and it might. I might end up doing something more layers over it to kind of cover it up a little bit more. But I like it. I like it a lot, actually. Okay. So now we're going to go to the first. I'm going to set this aside so their little bows can dry. I'm going to put it over here next to me. And in this one, let me move these scraps out of the way. In this one, we are going to do, we're going to do our little card. And I want to put this little card. Okay. Let's put you up here in the little ephemera bag. I want to put that little card probably probably back in here. Yeah, I think back in here by this. Oh, yeah, back in here. So I've been trying to decide how I want to mount it. Do I want to mount it so it flips open like this? Or do I want to cover the inside? Or, you know, when you add a card to a page, you can always wrap them around the page like this. And then see them, you know, open like this. Well, I want this to be a pocket. And if I want to add something to it and I put it on my left side, I don't really want to have it come out this way because it's just too hard and I'm limited to what I can put in there. So if I put it on the left side, I would want it to come out the top. And like I would just make a big tag. But then on the back, I need to cover it. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cover the back of it and I'm going to wrap it around a page and just have these polka dots, you know, be the background. And then I'm going to make it the pocket on this side. So I want to cover this and I want to cover it with, let me get the paper out that I want to show you the paper I want to cover it with. Or I might already have it out here. Did I save enough? Oh, man, I didn't save enough paper. Darn it. Okay, so I need to choose another piece of paper. Darn. Okay. So, since I didn't save enough of my birds, I think we're going to use this. So, we're going to use this. And I really don't like that against that green. Really don't like that, but I do like it against that. So if I just put it that way and cover the inside, I could open it and have a pocket on the inside and a pocket over there. Okay, let's do it that way. Yeah. All those changes just because I don't like a color. My goodness, am I fickle. All right, so we're going to cover the inside like a pocket. We're just going to cover it like a pocket because I still want this to be a pocket on the inside. A big pocket. Okay, so I'm just lining it up here. So let me get the signature out of the way. And I want to mark it across the bottom where I can cut it off. Because there's no need in messing with this, you know, paper that's too long. That's just silliness. I'll end up, you know. Now, let me make sure I've got this where I want it. Okay, so I will save that though. And now I'm just going to cut the edge of this off, the edge of this paper. That's about the easiest trim of paper I think I've ever done. Okay, so now I'm going to go on, and with my paper sitting inside here, I'm going to go on and glue it down like I would any other pocket. And I'm just going to use my art glitter glue. Silly goose. I think it is drying. I think I left the top off and it is drying. That is why it is coming off. I think I left the top off too long. Let's try this again, shall we? Okay. Come on. Okay, so I'm just gluing this piece of paper on just like I would any other pocket. Making sure it's tucked into the edge and it's lined up on the bottom. Okay, now once I have it in, I'm going to let it dry for a minute before I use this. I know you knew what I was saying, but I am going to go on. Oh, my gracious. And punch this. Since that paper's dry. Okay, but I'm going to let this glue dry before I round my corners. Okay, so now, since I'm just gluing the back down, I can go on and add another pocket over there. And since this paper has coordinating paper, I think I'm going to use this. Maybe. Or maybe we'll use the polka dots. You all know how much I do like polka dots. So I think maybe I'm going to use this. Or maybe I'll use both. Let's just use both. So I think we're going to make stacked pockets. Will this fit? Yes. So we are going to make stacked pockets. Now, we have to stay out of the fold area. Okay, we have to stay out of the fold. Okay? So, we need to measure our width. But we do need to stay out of our fold. So I need to bring this over. And I'm just going to let a little bit of that green show. And I'm actually going to paper clip this in place while I trim it or mark it or whatever else I need to do. I'm just paper clipping it in place. And I'm going to cut it on the edge the same way I just did. I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut it straight up the edge. I've got both pieces together underneath. And I'm just cutting straight up the edge of the card. Just like that. Now, as you can see, I didn't cut it very straight, but that's all right. I'll come back and fix it. Okay. I think that's where I went from 2 pieces to 1 piece. But I also think I don't need both of them. Yeah. Okay, so now I need to decide, as you all know, you've done these with me 100 times, how big a pocket do I want here? Now remember, this is one big pocket for a big tag we're going to make. So how big of a pocket do we want these two to be? Do we want these two to be really big pockets? Do we want them to be smaller pockets? Well, I usually like my pockets to be about 2 inches. But for this, and I'm going to take a scrap of this and put a pocket here. I'm thinking I want this one to be about 2 inches, and this one's going to be about 2.5 inches. So, lucky for us, the paper cutter is taking up space on the desk. We're going to cut this. So, let's cut this to 2 inches. So there's the bottom one. So we need this one to be 2.5 because it's going to be the back one. Okay, easy peasy lemon squeezy. And then this one will just need to be cut to length. So this one's just going to go here. Actually, we need to turn it over so we can mark it. This one's going to go here to here. And then we just need to cut for length. Okay. Now we're done with that. So this one's going to sit here like that. And before we put it on, we can go on around the corners because that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to go on and put this in here. And I'm going to go on around the corners. And I'm going to go on around these corners. And then on this, I'm going to go on around this corner. And at the top, I'm going to give it a smaller round. Like that. Now for the pockets we just cut, I'm going to do the same thing. Except I'm going to do them together. I'm going to put them together. I'm not going to round the inside corner. I'm going to round the bottom corner first. Now you don't have to round them together. You can do them separate if you want. The top corners together. Okay. So this one's going to go here. No, it isn't. This one's going to go here. And these are going to go here. Okay, let's get all these little punchadoodles off of the table so we're not trying to glue them down. Now, if you want, you can ink around these in any color, any color that you have. You don't have to do, you know, any particular color. You can do any color you have. And, you know, especially a nice springy card like this. Okay, so this is going to go here. And you'll notice this is a small enough card for a small enough pocket. I didn't put a notch in it. I know it's a pocket. Now, I'm going to go on and glue these together before I put them down. Now, on this top one, I am going to put a notch. And I'm just lining it up so I can see where it needs to go. And because I did one there, I'm going to do one here. But it's not going to be as big. So I'm lining this up. I'm going to go on and glue it on. Okay, and then I'm going to glue this one on. Now, you can make this as many pockets high as you choose. You could make this 4 or 5 up that whole place if you wanted. And I did not glue that straight, but that's okay. You could add another one and another one if you wanted. Okay, so there's my card. Just like that. Okay, it's got a little bit of girth to it now. So now in here, I'm going to go back to my page somewhere. Okay. And on this side, I'm going to put it right here. So on the back, I need to go on and glue it down. Now, if I wanted, I could also make the back of it a pocket. You know, glue the back of it down like a pocket. So I had a pocket going in the back, plus a pocket in here. If you want to do that, you can do that. Just remember to glue it down that way. I just realized I haven't turned that light on. There. Sorry about that, you guys. I was wondering why things weren't looking very bright. Okay. So now I'm going to try and bring this down toward the bottom. Yeah, I don't want it all the way up at the top because I'm going to have something sticking out at the top. And I want all of its, you know, its cutie pie-ness to stick out at the top. So I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to go like this. Actually, I'm going to use this to help spread my glue out. All right, let's Let's get my pencil and my scissors out of my way. Okay, there. Now, once that dries, I can put things in my pockets. So there's my card. Oh, I love that little card. I think that's so cute. She gives me one like that every year. I just love it. Okay, so now we're going to add our little tabs. And I think I've decided how we're going to do our cover, and we're going to do that in the next video. So all of our signatures are going to have fabric tabs, little fabric tabs on the first page of the signature. Now, I've lost one. Here it is. Okay. Now, you can take your fabric and you can ink it like I did this fabric. This fabric was kind of creamy white like this. And I just took my vintage photo over it before I ripped it, and to give it more of a vintage look. Like that. Here, I can show you what it looked like. That was before. It had little doodle flowers on it, and that was after. So either way, you can do it either way. And then I have this fabric to use. And I thought maybe that fabric, but after looking through here, I don't think so. So I'm going to use these two. And I was thinking this blue, but I changed my mind on that. So I'm thinking the butterflies. I mean the bumblebees. They're not butterflies, Lori, you silly girl. So to make your tabs, now I take this back. This is how I make my tabs. I cut just a little bit. This is maybe an inch wide. And then I just rip my fabric. I just rip it. Now this can also be like linen, or not linen, cotton. It can just be cotton that you've stamped on. They make great tabs. You know, you can coffee dye it, you can stamp on them, you can do whatever you want on them. And they make great tabs. So make sure you find the top. See, this one's upside down. So make sure you find the top of your signature. Make sure everything is going the right way. Okay. In the front of the signature. Okay, so I don't want all those threads. And what I do is I put mine on so that just a little bit, let me show you, so that just a little bit is sticking out. But I want the little threads at the top. And then I use my, my stapler, which is right here. Now you can staple them on, you can glue them on, you can do whatever you want. But I bring them up to the top. See how it sticks up above the top of the paper? Just a little bit. I bring them in across, you know, you're going to just have to manipulate your stapler. Now, on the back, of course, you're going to have that. So you can either take another piece of fabric and put it across there. You can cover it with something. You can do whatever you choose. If you like the look of that, leave it alone and move on with your day. Now, I'll come in and I'll decorate over that. I'll put a piece of lace. I'll put a piece of, most likely, I'll come back in and I'll use a piece of this fabric. Maybe. This really isn't the color that I want. I'll probably come in and put something else over it. You know, I'll decorate it with something. But that's how I put them on. And then, see, this one also. Now, if they don't have enough of the wigglies that I like, I just pull the threads to get enough of them. Because you need them on the long edge. Because when you fold it, that's the edge that's going to stand up. So make sure everything's going the right direction. Okay. I wrap it and then I slide it up. And like I said, you can glue them. If you're going to glue them, I would probably use either your art glitter glue or your Fabri-Tac. Now, see, I had to put 3 staples in that one because it was a little bit bigger. I would either use your art glitter glue or your Fabri-Tac. It depends on what fabric you're using, or if you're using lace. It just depends on, what you're using. Now, I've used lace as my tabs before, and lace works well with art glitter glue. So, either way, it depends on the fabric you're using. You know your fabric and your glues better than anyone else for your area. So just make sure that you've got something that's going to hold them down. Now see, I'm just pulling the little threads, getting them nice and furry. And then I'm choosing the way that the orientation that I want it to go. Oh yeah, that's nice and furry. Okay. Now this one's a little bit longer. So these will all go down this way. And they don't all have to be exactly the same. Mine are all 3 different. Look, that one's a little bit fatter. That one's a little bit longer. And that one's a little bit skinnier. This one could probably have one more right. Yeah, maybe right there. So I don't knock it off. So mine are all 3 different. So, but that's the order that my book goes in. So that's how our pages are coming. That, they're coming along. So I think we're going to be building our cover soon. And I'm so excited about that. That is going to be a lot of fun. And I think we might do that in the next video because I'm getting really anxious. I'm ready to make it. So I think that's what we're going to do. So I want to thank you all for joining me today and for having some fun with me, even if it was a little chaotic and a little messy. That's always fun to do. And I want to welcome our new subscribers to the Ladybug Journals. A great big ladybug flutter to you. It's always fun to have new people around the craft table and to share all of our crafting fun with you. And I hope you share out our videos to your friends so they can join you around the craft table. So until I see you again in our next Ladybug Journal videos, ta-ta for now.